Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell Podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. Pleased to be joined by Justin Ashley, of course, of Justin Ashley Racing in the NHRA Top Fuel category. Justin, how are you?
I'm doing great, Casey. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. How are you?
I'm doing well. So, two wins in a row. One at Phoenix, and of course, one at the Winter Nationals at Pomona. You know, two wins in the first three races, and you have the points lead. It's a pretty good start to the year for you guys.
It is. It's really good. I mean, I think it's everything that we expected. But listen, we made a lot of changes in the offseason. We went through, we regrouped, we changed a lot of stuff on the car because we knew that the competition was going to be really good in 2023 in Top Fuel. So we felt like we needed to make those changes. And early on, I think it's paid off. It's paid dividends. We're still working on a few things. We still got a long way to go. It's a long year, but when you look at the first three races, obviously, for our Phillips Connect Toyota team, we're really happy with the results and we're happy with where we're at.
Yeah, it's what's it just like to go down and race at the Winter National? It was a little weird this year because usually that's where the season starts. But what was it like going there this weekend as being the third race of the year?
Yeah, so it was different for a few different reasons. Number one, obviously, right, you're used to kicking off the season there, and you're still kind of getting everything underneath yourself, and getting a few races underneath your belt before you go there this time around. It makes a big difference. There's just a certain level of comfort that now we had there that we hadn't had before, having had two races before then and testing and plenty of laps to be able to make before we actually got to Pomona. And the other really cool thing was in and outs involvement, which I think was really awesome to see. It's a staple, obviously, in the California area. It's a staple on the West Coast, and they have a natural tie into drag racing too. So I think to see about five in and out trucks just at the track and all the people walking around with burgers and in and out hats was just really exciting,
Yeah,
and really fun and engaging to see.
yeah. So let's, going in, you talk about this Mission Too Fast, Too Tasty challenge that you guys are doing.
Yeah, so it's fun. What they do is they take the four semifinalists from the race before and they race against each other at the next event. So for us, obviously, we won the race in Phoenix. So we were part of that group of four top fuel cars that were able to race in the Mission Foods Too Fast, Too Tasty Challenge on Saturday in Pomona, which is great because it gives us an opportunity to win two races within one, which we were fortunate enough to be able to do this weekend in Pomona. So it's fun. It's twofold. It's exciting for the drivers and the teams because it's a chance to add championship points, a chance to collect another check, but it's also great for the fans because instead of just racing against the clock, you get to see two drivers step up there in something that's important and actually race against each other. So it's an exciting, new, fun deal that NHRA is doing for the year.
Yeah. And so, of course, that might can, I don't know how that's going to work out for Vegas. Are they just going to have like one? Because it's the two, you got two four wides in a row. So,
So it's interesting, right? It'd be funny if they took those four and just raced them in one quad, which I think would be a fun deal. But so it's going to be in most of the races. It will not happen, I believe, at the two four wide events. It won't happen during the countdown. And I
right.
believe it won't happen during Indy either. So these specialty type of races or events, it won't happen at. But for the most part, it's going to happen in a lot of different races.
Those two, and let's talk about those two four wides for a second there. Those are actually the next two races on the calendar for you guys. So what's that going to be like going from racing two wide to four wide? Because obviously four wide racing is something that the NHRA has done for a long time actually. But what's that like to be part of those four wide events?
Well, I think it's fun because you have over 40,000 horsepower all on the line at once. You thought things can get quirky with 22,000 horsepower, but when you're talking about 44,000 plus horsepower all at once, it's unpredictable. Anything can happen. And from a driving perspective, from a team perspective, it's a little bit different because sometimes on race day, when things get hairy, you might try and look over into the opposite lane and see what's happening with the other driver, and it'll give you an indication of whether or not you should pedal the car. Now all bets are off. You really don't know. So you just try and do what you can, put yourself and your team in the best position to go out there and cross the finish line as quickly as you can. And then the staging is a little bit different. If you're on the outside in lanes 1 or lanes 4, the staging is pretty natural. It's a normal routine. But if you're on the inside, lanes 2 and 3, your staging bulb is actually across the way. So it throws your mind off a little bit. Since the staging is different and most drivers are routine oriented, it certainly takes some getting used to. The more laps, the better. We do have 4 qualifying sessions there, and things tend to get quirky, but it'll help us all get adjusted.
Yeah, so kind of talk about just like staging the car before the race.
So normally it's pretty routine, and all drivers have their routines because we have 21 races, 19 of them are the same. But with these 2 four wides, obviously there's 4 bulbs going across. There's the top bulb and then the bottom bulb, so 8 total bulbs. But when you're in 1 and 4, which is the left outside and the right outside lanes, it's a normal staging process. You go in and you have those outside bulbs. But when you're in lanes 2 and 3 on the inside, you are staging with the bulb across from you. So instead of it being the pre-stage bulb in front of you where you usually see it, it's across the way, almost feels like on the other 2 lanes. So it gets a little bit quirky, and I think it's more mind games than anything else. And just like these other tracks, experience helps, and it all adds up to success.
Yeah. Yeah, of course this week off for Easter, and then you got Vegas coming up. What's it like to go out there, whether it's two wide or 4 wide? It's gonna be it's always a good show anytime you go out there.
It is. I love Vegas. Obviously, it's a beautiful facility. It reminds me, for a lot of reasons, it's a Bruton Smith facility, so it reminds me of Charlotte. It's another one of those grand type places that really is just gorgeous and beautiful. Love racing there, right in between the mountains. And something special about Vegas is the way the planes are. I believe there's like an Air Force or a military base
Yeah.
right over there. So there's always those flyovers on Sunday mornings to add a little extra to those butterflies in the stomach. And it's just a fun place to go. It's always fast. The fans are always excited and engaged to be there. So, our Phillips Connect Toyota team loves spending time in Vegas, and we love racing there.
Yeah. And then after that, you guys are NHRA makes their grand return to Chicago right after those 2 races. I don't know if you had a chance to race in Chicago ever, but what's it going to be like to go back there?
So it's funny, I've never raced in Top Fuel in Chicago. I did race there, I believe, twice in Top Alcohol Dragster, and I spent a lot of time there watching my father race, especially in Pro Modified. I love that track. It's a fun track. I'm excited to get back there because I think the fans are going to be really excited. They're going to be happy that the NHRA is back there racing and there's some nitro in their life again. So
Yeah.
it'll be nice to get back there, see some of those fans, and just embrace all their enthusiasm.
Okay, so what's it going to be like trying to just keep the momentum going, because you guys have won the last 2, and then we're heading to the. What do you want to see out of this team, out of this? You just got to keep doing what you're doing, as your crew chief said yesterday after.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I think that's what we need to see is we just need to see constant improvement. We need to see us doing what we do. It's very easy to get caught up in winning the first 2 out of 3 races, and it's hard to win any race. So it's very, very important to enjoy these wins when they come. But it's also very important to put them in the rear view mirror when the time is right. So for us, probably after yesterday, really, this race was behind us. It's about focusing on the next one. It's a long year. You have 21 races. We're only 3 races in with the countdown format. Anything can happen at any time. So we're going to do everything we can to carry that momentum forward and just continue to grow as a team, continue to grow as a program. And that's going to take the right mentality, the right culture, which thanks to Dustin Davis, Tom DeLago, and Mike Green, we have. So great personnel, great team, and we have the right mentality to be able to accomplish great things throughout the remainder of the season, but one race at a time.
all right, Justin Ashley, always appreciate you coming on, and congrats on the last 2 wins, and best of luck at the 4 wide at Vegas next week.
Anytime. Thank you, Casey. I appreciate it.